Hey everyone, Harry here to talk about the latest decision in the 14th Amendment, Section 3 kind of cascade going on in the states. This by the big daddy of them all, California, with its biggest cache of delegates in the nation. The Lieutenant Governor, a Democrat with political ambitions to run for governor, sent a letter to the Secretary of State saying you should explore every legal option for getting Trump off the ballot, and saying we know that a president has to be 35, and in the same way, under the Constitution, a president can't be an insurrectionist, or to encapsulate the argument. Now, what happened thereafter is pretty summary, or it's not much in terms of legal process. First, Gavin Newsom, the governor, weighed in and said, yes, we know he's an insurrectionist, but in California we defeat people at the ballot box. And then the Secretary of State responds to the lieutenant governor and just says, this is a very serious question, and it's not the same as whether someone's 35. It's more complicated. All right, so this with Maine sort of perfectly sets up the warring rhetoric here that I just think it's useful to try to underscore. So, who represents democracy is the sort of short title for this rhetorical battle that's now going on and will continue. Newsom says, and by implication, though she really doesn't say much, the Secretary of State, that the Democratic way is to have Trump on the ballot. And that's also the main talking point that the Trump campaign is making in response to the Maine decision and Colorado. This is just election interference and keeping the will of the people from being heard. And so that's a pretty strong blow in favor of saying, we shouldn't, for reasons of democracy, execute the command in Section 3 of the 14th Amendment. The counter argument, of course, is it's a constitution. We're expounding and applying it is just as democratic, in some ways more so, than ignoring it. We have our greatest ultimate law that puts forward a mandate to protect democracy, saying someone who commits an insurrection has essentially forfeited their right to be a federal official. And the exigencies of democracy and the paramount objective of the rule of law and people acknowledging the union, this being a provision passed in the wake of the Civil War, is what matters here. And to close one's eyes to it is precisely to derogate democracy. So that's the kind of tug of war going back and forth. And I think you can see it sort of every day, including on Fox, CNN, MSNBC, and the like. And I just want to say that, for my lights, there is nothing anti-democratic about enforcing a constitutional provision that says somebody who engaged in insurrection against the United States is forfeits their right to be an official. First, of course, it is in the damn Constitution, so it's no less democratic than anything else in there. But it's in there for the reasons we fought a civil war, and the ultimate bedrock or foundation of the democracy is the agreement that we are all in a union, which you can argue within there, but you can't try to actually dissolve the union, and that's the foundation of the whole democratic system. Anyway, California versus Maine really, in a nice way, sets up that rhetorical war of words that's going to continue. It's, as I say, this very sort of curt letter off the cuff from the Secretary of State. And she says she's got many other challenges to Trump, and it's hardly official action. In other words, as I read it, it remains possible for her to entertain a subsequent action that's has a stronger foundation or evidentiary base, and do what the Secretary of State in Maine did. On the other hand, it's also maybe even more likely that she says, I ruled on this already, but the ruling is not much of a ruling. To say that the Section 3 of the 14th Amendment is more complicated than being 35, it's true, but it hardly is a justification for not trying to apply the Constitution and the law. So whether that will continue to be the proffered justification for not even dealing with these multiple challenges that are coming up, we'll see. Anyway, so California for now. And remember, this is all at the primary stage. Depending what the Supreme Court does, there could be a lot more action at the general election, though I don't want to give a sense of false hope here. My sense is the Supreme Court is going to take the case and is going to try to shut down these different actions because they're going to be really skittish about the idea that Trump be on the ballot, and especially in the general election in some states and not others. But nevertheless, so this action's going to continue, and there is, who is really for democracy and who really isn't. That kind of implicit battle will continue with it. For now, California, the biggest and richest delegate state in the union, says Trump remains on the ballot for the primary. And I think we can expect that certainly to be the judgment, at least through the California primary. Talk to you later. Thanks for tuning in. If you enjoyed this video and other Talking Feds content, please take a second to like and subscribe. Talk to you later.